Okay, so we're going to be doing a review for Major League Wrestling's War Chamber 2019, and we're going to do this little by little. So each match, we're going to do commentary on the match, and we know we're behind, but that's what happens when you got tons of other things, and that's just what happens. But we're going to do it. I've been looking forward to this for a time, and we're like 2 or 3 weeks behind, so we need to get caught up. So we're going to do the opening match, and the opening match featured a newcomer there, it seems. And what was his name?
Leo Bryan.
Leo Bryan or Leo O'Brien?
No, Bryan. Brien.
So Leo Bryan.
Yep.
And he comes down the ring. I mean, he was coming to the ring with a rope, and I was like, well,
no, it's leather
vest and rope, and I was like, okay, Adam Page.
Exactly.
But he was coming down with that wildness like Stan Hansen, like some crazy Texican or something like that.
And then he started barking like Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Yeah, in the little interview with the small corner there.
He was doing it in the ring. He was walking around the ring barking.
So he had his full Hacksaw Duggan going. Mm-hmm. He was wild and forward like Stan Hansen. He had his forward burliness, kind of like Dr. Death Steve Williams. He had his Adam Page going on. He had his Barry Windham-ish like hair going on. He was full Texican. He looks like a throwback. He looked like he's a raw bone sumbitch. And I like that. Wrestling need that. Now I hope they can build him up. But he gets in the ring, and we're like, who in the hell is this dude? And they're like, and the guy asked Tony Schiavone, well, what's his opponent's name? He's like it matters. I was like, oh shit.
His opponent, like, he got on pajama pants and sneakers, man. He was like some dude who hold a camera somewhere. He did not. I don't think he was a wrestler. He didn't get a move. He got thrown around and brutalized like he was off the hook. Hey,
He is an enhancement wrestler. He's an enhancement guy.
Enhancement. I don't think he was a wrestler.
He's just no wrestler, just enhancement. Just enhancement. And the finishing move of Leo Bryan is the Oklahoma Stampede version 2. I don't know if anyone notices what that is. The original Oklahoma Stampede was Dr. Death Steve would pick you up over the shoulder, slam you down. That was it. Then the second version was he would pick you up from one corner, run, and slam you down. Then he had the version where he would run to the corner, hit you into the corner, and then run back to the center, slam you down. He had a special one where he would run from one corner, bam, run to the other corner, bam, run to the middle, slam you down. You saw that rarely. So he's even using Dr. Death Steve Williams' move that he did innovate. Steve Williams did innovate the Oklahoma Stampede. So this guy, he's got promise. He's forward, energy, unforgiving, unyielding, and ready to fight. Not wrestle, fight.
Maybe next time we'll see if we get somebody other than
yeah,
enhancement.
because he just stomped this dude into oblivion. I mean, he was stomping him and kicking him. It didn't look like a wrestling match. It looked like a fight. I'm like, somebody should have told this enhancement guy that he needs some domes and some ibuprofen. Some Anderson. He needs all that.
All the old school pills.
Every last one. Excuse me, Brian, do you have any Anderson? Any Anderson? What? Anderson? Do they even make that anymore? I've got a splitting headache. Like, he didn't even acknowledge the shit. But this guy here, I like him. I'm liking what I see, because there's enough faces in MLW. You need some bad guys, and you need some bad guys like this. Because Jacob Fatu, he's going to need some kind of competition, and you can't keep using the same people over and over. You
can't have the same cannon fodder, man.
And whoever this dude in his mama's pajamas need to not come back. That's just the way that goes. So we're done with this, and I think we spoke longer than the match was.
Yeah,
so
we have.
I'm gonna stop it here, and we're gonna pick it up for the next match. I still want that filet-o-fish. We gonna get that?
Did I say yes?
All right, we're gonna get that filet-o-fish at some point. All right, we're gonna. Here, I'm stopping. Okay, so their shows ain't but like 40-some minutes anyway.
That one was 53.
Yeah, 53, yeah. And it was good. So let me get some things cleared up because I had to do some research to figure out names and faction names. So it's not Serena, it's Selena de la Renta. I thought it was Selena De La Renta, like one word, De La Renta, or De La Renta. But no, it's for Selena De La Renta. And she is the leader of their stable.
Promociones Dorado.
Yes. Promociones Dorado. So, all right. And she was in this thing with Conan and all this stuff. I haven't seen how that ended. We have to go back. But we know she got the golden ticket, but that was Manson
she got her phone back.
Yeah, the golden ticket from him, the phone from Conan. She's had to work. Yeah. And after the match with the Baba Ganoush, the enhancement guy, the jobber, the wearer of mama's pajamas, after he's done, she comes to the ring and starts stomping on him, and then L.A. Park, La Parca, whichever you want to call, he comes to the ring and he's stomping on him and they're just beating the dude up, holds him up, and she just slaps him around and stuff. And she announces that the golden ticket, because everyone's wondering when you're going to use the golden ticket. Me, if I were a heel, I would have waited for Jacob to be at his weakest and then attack him. You can't, I don't know who she got in her faction or stable or foundation that can take Jacob Fatu.
I think she thinks that L.A. Park can.
Oh, wait. She did mention it like that.
Yeah. That's who's wrestling him. She said the L.A. Park was her destroyer.
L.A. Park is far from a destroyer. I would use his son before him. But but okay. L.A. Park, look, I'm gonna be honest with you. He's up there in years. He's not nearly as mobile as he was 5 years ago. So I don't know about this. And I can see Jacob Fatu dismantling him in a second.
Yeah,
so
quickly.
I don't know what she's thinking. She might bring in a ringer. I don't know. But when L.A. Park got that chair and sat down, right before he got in there, he taunted like Dr. Wagner Jr. I was like, he just stole his stuff. So we'll see how that go. And see, in Lucha Libre, in AAA, in Consejo Mundial de Lucha Libre, them motherfuckers is used to, they will beat each other. There's many times where Silver King was, before, obviously way before his death, where he was either sick or injured, so his brother Wagner Jr. would have been him. L.A. Park, La Parca was him. Silver King has been La Parca. He's been Wagner Jr. They've all interchanged like that. Abiso Negro, all of them has interchanged each other's identity when one gets injured, sick, or go away, or was released from contract for a little bit, or got fed up. They've all been each other. So if I'm saying if L.A. Park comes to that match, it's going to be, and you see him with a flatter abdomen, it ain't him.
Yeah, it ain't him, because he's got quite a little belly there.
And he's too big, so anybody else it's like, this is obvious. What, he just automatically get in shape, really?
I want to know that regiment.
And the whole match will take place at Major League Wrestling's first live pay-per-view, which will be Super Fight. So that's going to be something. Hopefully it'll be an online pay-per-view, because honestly, that might be the first one I want to order and watch. I don't know. Major League Wrestling is something I want to help, They got a great product. It's good. The wrestling is solid. The storylines are solid. Everything in there is solid. I like it, And that leads us into things that aren't so solid, things that are jacked up. And not in the bad way, but in the we got heart way. And sometimes you just, for the sake of the show, they will sacrifice themselves.
Yeah.
So that leads us to the main event, which happens to be the second match of the night. And that's the War Chamber. Because it can't be War Games, trademark. So you don't want to get sued. It's the shinning. It's the shinning. Don't you mean the shining? It's the shinning. Do you want to get sued? So, yeah, it's that. So, I don't know who the ring announcer is. I can't remember his name because I never really hear it. But good grief. He has that voice of hypeness. He makes you feel like this is going to be something. he gave me a little goosebumps, and then he went too long explaining all this other stuff.
Yeah, explaining the rules.
Now, granted, he had to explain the rules,
Yeah.
and the rules are simple. I think he could have made them simpler, but he did a good job. You could hear the audience was getting lost. It was kind of like we're getting bored. Just get the match started. Just give us hell, Quimby. So
That's why he finished up with the War Chamber.
Oh, he said the War Chamber so many times. Cedric looked back and said, "What is it, Cedric?" I'm like, "The War Chamber." So we poked fun. So now the match. So the way he did it was long. So for me, I would do it the way I think he should have done it. All right. One man will enter from a faction, and then another man will enter from the other faction. This is after the coin toss. Then every 2 minutes, alternating members of the faction will come out. Once all members are in the ring, then the War Chamber officially begins, and it will only end by pinfall, submission, or surrender, which I think was dumb because submission and surrender are practically the same thing.
Surrender could be like, I don't want to do this no more.
I'm out of here, man.
So, yeah, surrender.
I would have said,
like if Loki took off his white trunks and started waving them around.
I would have been like pinfall, submission, knockout, or injury. That's how I would have said it. And the people would have been like, what? Mm-hmm. And it'd be like, yeah, injury. So then you'd be wondering who's gonna fake it or whatnot like that. And trust me, the way this company works, nobody's gonna Shinsuke Nakamura this shit. They're not gonna do it. It's gonna be good. Teddy Hart, he had his little promo where he was mad and stuff like that. And here's the thing, he's such an asshole. I believe what he's saying until the only way out of this is death. And I'm like, well, you jumped the shark. You're fucking stupid. That's what happened at that point. You went overboard because you're not going to murder somebody in the ring. And with all the deaths in pro wrestling, basically stemming from WWE, it's not really something you want to use. Just saying. That too soon. So the first one in is from Contra Unit. And they'll be going against the Von Erichs. Not a faction, but they needed some help.
Yeah.
So, first one comes in is the son of Karl Gotch, or grandson of Karl Gotch, I think it is, but Simon Gotch. And he looks like a young version.
Oh, he does?
Yeah. He's damn good. But he comes in, and the first opponent is Marshall Von Erich. Now, their father, the Von Erich's father, was out there, and ultimately he uses the claw on someone that runs down. I think it was Teddy Hart just for laughs. And see, just like he's too big.
He's too tall.
I'm like, eh.
He was probably Hammerstone.
Oh, you think?
He's a big dude.
Alexander Hammerstone?
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't in the show, so it might have been him.
Yeah.
Got to stay relevant.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So they do battle, okay? So Simon Gotch, Marshall Von Erich, they do battle for 5 minutes. They kind of start off heavy and whatnot. The problem with this is the camera angles too far away, all right? Not enough close-up camera angles. The crowd, it's like they died. It's like they were hyped when they came out. Then the fighting started and they just shut up.
But see, they couldn't do the match like a regular match. It was more just like lots of wear down, holding punches, so it just wasn't a whole lot to hold their interest for that 5 minutes. I think that 5 minutes was too long.
The 5 minutes
should have been started 2 minutes and then 2 minutes and then.
Yeah, they should have sped it up. The 5 minutes is tradition. And the thing is, I don't think on War Games was 2 minutes. I think it was every 5 minutes somebody come in. So you had your leisure. But they're throwing punches, kicks, and then cravats, side headlocks, stompings. They're wearing it down, but it's 5 minutes. And any pro wrestling match, 5 minutes is either if it's just a showcase match that, just opening match, 5 minutes might be the average and then it's over. But these are their top talent, so 5 minutes is still getting warmed up. And it sets in because it's all hype and it's the opening. And then they realize after they start fighting, oh yeah, you can't win or anything, so why y'all fighting? It's like the crowd would have been like, look, just get in the ring and stand and wait for everybody to show up. Yeah. And then start fighting. But then that would be boring. So they did. What?
Could have had a dance off.
They could have had a dance off, but this is not AEW. So after that, then Contra Unit, since they won the coin toss, they came out first. They get the advantage, the 3-on-1, the 2-on-1 advantage. So that's when Samael comes in, and they fight and do all this other stuff. And look, at first, you know, Marshall, he was doing all right, and then they started whooping his ass, and then he made his comebacks. It was kind of good. The comebacks made sense. You know, I found myself cheering for. It's weird. I love Contra Unit so much. It's hard to cheer for the faces.
I found the 2-on-1 was not done effectively.
I mean, in general, they did the roller coaster right. You talking about sex?
No,
you was giving me this look, and I'm like, I'm not talking about the same subject.
Go ahead. There was no one having sex in the ring, so no, I'm not talking about
this
sex.
ain't WWE. This isn't no rated X show. Yeah, you remember that with Lita and Edge?
Yeah, it was rated R.
You rate the rated R show or whatever the fuck. Sex scene.
Out in my lame underwear. We're gonna get under the covers and then just.
And then when it's over, he comes up. I'm like, you're not even erect. You fail in bed. You was under there for 2 or 3 minutes, and you're not even erect. You fail, man. You know, you never having children at this rate. It takes an erection, man. It takes that at least. So, okay, I was thinking it did well because he comes in, and then they get the 2-on-1 advantage. But then, Marshall starts fighting back. And then they take him down. Samael and Simon Gotch. They take him down. And they start beating on him. And then when they let him up and try something, he takes his little shots and fights back. I thought it was well. What did you find wrong with it?
Maybe because they're not a team, but there's just so many double team things they could have done to him.
In 2 minutes, they honestly, if they were a legit tag team, they would have dismantled him quick.
Yeah, and the crowd wasn't in it. They was like, yeah, you know.
Because, okay, the show has old school NWA style lighting. Okay, that's number one.
Yeah.
Number two, the ring, they did make the ring bigger, but in all honesty, they should have made it so that there were 2 rings. All right? And 3, when the wrestling business has been exposed so much, they don't talk about get them in, beat them down, wear them down to the point where their partner comes in and their partner is almost solo. They don't talk about that. So the fans are already in the mindset of, well, nothing's going to happen. So they're not enthusiastic. There are no major stars. There are no epic stars and good guys. They love the Von Erichs. The Von Erichs are some serious baby faces, but they don't have that mass appeal where you just gotta see them win. They don't have that thing when they start getting beat on and you get mad about it.
I get that. So in the absence of that, you have to be creative with your moves. You have to look like the damage is terrible. Look, I don't know shit about what was the Rock and Roll Express? Is that the one that?
Which one? The Rock and Roll Express. That was Gibson and Morton. Morton was the one that got his ass whooped.
I don't think I could count on 3 fingers how many times I saw them wrestle. But when I watched them wrestle on that NWA show and dude was getting his ass whooped, I was like, damn, man. Somebody help him.
Ricky Morton was getting his ass whooped. You're like, yeah, somebody. Oh my God! And here's the thing. I told Cedra.
Yeah.
I told her for many days ahead, and even right as the match was about to begin, I was like, when he takes an ass whooping, you're gonna feel really bad for him because he does it perfectly. And you know what? He was taking that ass whooping, and I felt bad for him. I'm like, oh my damn. Like, look, he looks like he's struggling. He looks like he's getting beat the shit out of. He's trying to make it. They won't let him make it. It's perfect. They don't have that in MLW. They don't have that old school because they're trying to cater to the modern era when the modern era don't even know what it wants.
But see, the thing is, like, for example, I feel like if Gotch came in and then the next person for Contra Unit to come in was Fatu, the crowd would have been live, but he would have kept them live.
Yes, and we'll get to Jacob. We'll definitely get to Jacob because it's some shit. All right, it is. So when that ends, after a beatdown, they got Marshall in an inverted crossface, and Simon does, and Samael is just stomping on him. Joseph Samael is just stomping on his ribs and just whooping his ass. And
that was the best thing of the whole 2 minutes.
Which what they should have done almost in the beginning. Get him down, pin him a little bit,
ground him in the meat paste.
There you go. It makes sense. Because that's what you do when you have the 2-on-1 advantage. You whoop his ass to the point where the crowd can't wait for the next one to come out.
And I mean, worthless to the next one.
Yeah. Now here's the thing: you don't want the crowd cheering the next guy to come out because he's just a fan favorite. You want them to cheer him to come out because his partner needs to be saved. Mm-hmm. There's a big difference, and the crowd was just, "Yay, you're out! Come to the ring and whoop their ass." So, I didn't know who was coming out, and I was too busy typing and trying to get names right and looking up stuff, and I just see brown head go by, but it's Tom Lawler, filthy Tom Lawler. So he gets in, he starts fighting. The crowd pops.
Yeah,
he's
got energy,
and the crowd stays live with him for a little bit.
Me personally, I'm still not feeling Tom Lawler yet, but he had the crowd.
He had the crowd.
He was doing his thing.
I'm not feeling Tom Lawler that much either. I'm honestly tired of seeing him a little bit, but he's he got the crowd. It's all good, and at about 30 seconds in, the crowd starts to die. Now it's a back and forth match, but the problem is Marshall Von Erich has this slight surge of energy that puts him on even footing when he should have been like, I get a blow in and I lay down or something. Show that he's got to work himself back up, because not everybody's watching the exact same thing. You got those that's going to be monitoring what he's doing because he got his ass whooped. But then he done got his ass stomped for 2 minutes after already 5 minutes taking at least half the beating. So he's got 7 minutes of damage on him, and now he comes up like, yeah, now I can fight. That can kill your audience, and it kind of did. You can hear them when they were live, and I was watching. They were live until Marshall got up and started fighting with a lot of vigor. They was kind of like quiet, like, okay. And they weren't really excited after that. So then, I think this is out of order. But now, the Major League Wrestling heavyweight champion comes in, Jacob Fatu. And in terms of his rivalry-ish with Tom Lawler, it makes sense. But this is really the Von Erich's feud. But I really would have put Jacob last. I would have done that. He's the champion. You know, whether they hate him or love him, that's the one they're waiting to see. That's your major pop. You don't put your champion in midway or in the beginning. You put him in last. You know, because the champion's one's the end-all, be-all. So, be it last. So, he comes in the middle. So, okay, now it's even. The problem is with Jacob and his reputation is not even. Because he's epic. You know, he's the Samoan werewolf, Jacob Fatu. He does not have much energy. He's basically Clubber Lang. He does not have the stamina, but he's got the power and he's got the agility. He's got the speed. He just doesn't have the endurance. And Jacob made sure to get the crowd popping. Every time they died a little bit, he'd bring them right back up with something. But when he came in, he didn't even save it to the end like other companies would. No. He got one down, and I think he had Marshall on the mat. Lawler was at the gate, the fence, and he goes in off the ropes, jumps over Marshall, back handspring heel kick to Lawler, falls back into a standing moonsault onto Marshall. Crowd pops. Why? Because it's epic, and I want to say it's unfair only because it's like this dude is huge. The saying that it's unfair is basically saying, you know, he's like overpowered. Not the company's making it, just his agility. Like, what can he not do to damage you?
He's big, he's super strong, he's powerful, And he's flipping and shit. Come on.
Yes, saying that it's unfair for this is a positive thing. I want y'all to know that. Being unfair is a positive thing. You want someone to be unfair. You want to see that big dude that can do what you think that only the skinny little dudes can do. You want to see someone with explosive power like a big dude and yet doing things that the small people can only do. Now you show the hybrid wrestler. And that's it.
Yep.
You know? So it's not, I'm not saying it's bad. No. Saying unfair is a good thing. So he does that, and then he gets to going, and then all of a sudden the crowd dies a bit. It dies a bit. Then and once he realized they died a little bit, pop up Samoan drop right onto their bodies. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not like he falls on his lower back.
Nope, he is completely off the...
His legs are in the air and he crashes down onto them. I don't know how he's not busted up a rib or anything. Mm-hmm. I don't know. There's a science to it, y'all. But Jacob Fatu is what you call mass pop effect. Mm-hmm. That's just Jacob. So then I'm like, who's coming next? But then after that, Low Key shows up. Mm-hmm. So he's the next one. Low Key comes in and he doesn't really clear house. But
he busted Samael open.
He gets to the ring. Somebody was like, you ain't getting in this ring. Screw you. And Low Key grabs that cage door and he slams that shit as hard as he can. Samael falls back. Samael clutches. He drops and clutches himself in the corner. He gets up bleeding. But the problem is, Low Key doesn't even work with that. He should have jumped on that immediately.
Yeah, and I think Samael did do it to himself because he had a spike that he showed later.
He did have a spike that he showed later. Mm-hmm. Yep. Hey, I thought he might have got it the hard way.
I thought so too.
But
it was convincing.
Very convincing.
He didn't like duck under the apron and do it.
It was right there. Mm-hmm. So he did it the right way. It was great. And the thing is, I like it. It added to the mayhem of War Chamber. Mm-hmm. It added to it. War Chamber. It was a mess by then, yeah. and we got 2 to go, and it was a mess. The ring had to be 18 by 18. I think they're working a 16 by 16, but this ring had to be 18 by 18, and they needed the room, and they had it, but it got crowded. Mm-hmm. Because it's not a tag match. No. It's a tornado match. So, Low Key is, he's doing his thing. No flashing elbow. I'm annoyed. But he was laying in those corner elbows like crazy. Mm-hmm. Man, he was working it. And, every time the crowd died, Low Key would bring them back up. Mm-hmm. When the crowd would die, Fatu would bring them back up. Nobody else was doing this.
Lawler was trying.
Lawler
was trying, but he just doesn't have anything to bring him back up.
He don't. He brings his MMA to the game, but he has no flair. But he does have that one thing. He's a match closer. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna give him that. He's definitely a match closer. So Low Key, he's doing his best. Mm-hmm. All right, he's doing what he can. Now it's time for the last member in this of Contra Unit, which is someone we hadn't seen before, which is Ikuro Kwon. So IKUROKWON. Ikuro Kwon. Mm-hmm. He's little. Mm-hmm. He look like he's got some Asian in him, or he's full Asian. I can never really see his face.
He's Asian.
Okay, he's Asian. And he's when he comes out, I'm not feeling him. And when he comes out, the crowd ain't even really feeling him. The crowd is like, oh, there's another dude coming to the ring. Mm-hmm. It could have been a stagehand.
And then he got into the ring and
nothing changed.
Didn't do much. He did some couple good kicks on Low Key, and then that was it.
Now hold up. When he got in, yeah, he went back and forth with Low Key, and that was cool.
Yeah.
He was stiff. He had some nice shots, and after he downed Low Key, he stood over him, just owning the area, just owning it.
That was all he did, though.
And that was it. He broke down the difference maker. And then he himself was not a difference maker. Not like that, because with Low Key in, the match still seemed even though the Von Erichs had the advantage in numbers. Mm-hmm. And then when Kuro Kwan come in, it's like nothing. He didn't balance it out. He didn't cause an imbalance. It's like you're just another person there, you know.
Exactly.
And he didn't do anything. He didn't stand out.
No.
He, you know, and there's no room to move and showcase yourself.
No.
So that's to be taken.
Part of the problem
Yes,
as well.
and at the same time, you didn't do anything to stand out until damn near the end. So finally, I'm gonna just what Kuro Kwan did is he used the red mist, which was terrible for one reason. It looked cool. It's something you don't see often. That was the Great Kabuki's thing, red mist. Great Muta did red mist rarely. So this guy does red mist, and it just falls flat. It falls flat. He got Tom Lawler in the face with the red mist. No pop from the crowd. No acknowledgement from the crowd. Not even that much from the commentators. I'm going to get on that soon. And it did not hamper Tom Lawler at all. It did not hamper him. You get red mist in your face. Traditionally, your ass is almost done. It's going to take a while to come back. You need to play that up. You get that red mist in the face, you are fucked. You can't see. They can beat on you. You can barely defend yourself. And that's how it should have been for the longest. And near the end, how it almost ended. When he got the sleeper on Samael, he should have had to find him and get him. And it could have been anybody. He just got his eyes closed. He's got him in the sleeper. But no. Just maybe 30 seconds to a minute after he got missed, he was like, I'm fine. I just got red on me. That's just... I like this show. I like the programming. But that shit sucked. That sucked. You know... You don't undermine the Asian mist. That's just one of them little cardinal rules in wrestling. You protect your finishers. You don't undermine specialties like the mist.
I mean, they always sell somebody else a flash of fire. Oh, it burns his skin. It's peeling. It's stuck to the mask.
Yes, they sold that up. And then,
and
then two or 3 weeks later, with this burned flesh to the mask, they show up on AEW.
Yep.
Great job, guys. That's how you delegitimize shit. So then when they come back to MLW, what's going to happen?
Are y'all cool?
Like, your face is all right? I guess you're fine.
I mean, you survived your burns?
Canon is important. When they went to AEW, they should have been talking about them being burned. You should have gave some legitimacy. And if anyone out there is like, wait a minute though, they ain't got nothing to do with each other. They do. And I'll explain that at the end. So, the final person to come out is the guy that's got the flu. No, he's getting over it.
Yeah.
And that's Ross Von Erich, who would have normally come out second. You know, this is their first one, but it makes sense for the Von Erich to come out together and do battle.
Yeah.
But he came out last because he's sick. And when he came out, he tried to be a house of fire. He got the shirt off. I was like, this dude has no energy.
He was tired, man.
He was tired.
He got in the ring. I think he did 1 or 2 moves, and it was like, whew.
Yep.
I need a second.
He had to sit down.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't like sit down. He just kind of fell over.
Yeah.
I mean, he attacked, and it looked like he was already beaten up for 10 minutes.
He was tired.
He was exhausted. Yeah. He tried and did what he could, but it was just...
Yeah, it wasn't up to par because he was sick. I mean, you know.
And it showed.
But he came out there and did his thing.
So
he could.
So the Mist didn't get legitimacy, but Influenza did.
Yeah.
Jacob Fatu, when the crowd was dying, he kept busting up the Von Erichs. He would jump on their asses quick. You know, and the match started to end. It was a flurry of moves, back and forth. They didn't go spot monkey with it.
No.
It was just what room you had for what move. You know, Jacob doing the capture Samoan drop. There was one time when he had Marshall up, and he was going to do it. And then I think it was Ross that got the Iron Claw on him. And then he spun, and, you know, Ross took the boots to the head from his brother. And then the brother got Samoan dropped.
Yeah.
And it was you know, it was a thing. You know, Samael bleeding, low key fucking with him, trying to rub his head on the barbed wire top of the fence. there's a lot that was going on. A lot.
And Fatu did a lot of mauling.
He did a lot of mauling. You know, you run out of moves. You can't do everything you want to do. So you maul them. You just maul them.
Samael was mauling too. Low key got mauled quite a bit.
Low key got mauled like crazy.
He got mauled and strangled and.
So, the match comes to the conclusion when the Von Erichs do. Now, when they first showed up, you know, to start this epic rivalry, they used the backdrop suplex with the Iron Claw combination. Looked beautiful. That's their tag team finisher. Then they bust out a new version of it, the Doomsday version of the Iron Claw. So the electric chair and then the top rope Iron Claw drop down onto the mat. So that's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. They got the win with it.
Yep.
On I think it was Samael they got it on. Was it? No, it wasn't Samael. Wait. No, I think it was Gotch. Yeah, it was Gotch. Who did attempt one time to get his I guess grandfather's pile driver on.
Yeah, but Ross fought it. Ross fought out the pile driver.
He fought off. He got away.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let me get on the commentary. Tony Schiavone that's a commentary voice I love to hear. I grew up listening to Tony Schiavone in multiple companies. And hearing him here is great. The problem is he sounded like he didn't give a shit.
Yeah, the whole time I was thinking, I wish Jim Cornette was up here.
Jim Cornette. I was like Jim Cornette. I think after right before the third person Samael came out, I thought Cornette should be up here because this dude is low voice, low energy. He sounds like he don't give a shit. Like he is just drained. You know, like, I know the business. I know what's up. Who cares? I don't give a damn. And that's just not cool. You know? And I'm like, what is up with Tony Schiavone? Now, he might not be happy. Why? Because to get certain things started, he had to... He got into talent relation contracts with All Elite Wrestling.
Oh, okay.
And in doing that, he's like, you know, and this was about a year ago, you know, when All Elite Wrestling was getting started, and Tony Schiavone's like, you know, well, I'll come up and do some commentary or something like that. You know, that's cool. And they're like, cool. And then they called him in on it. Hey, you need to come in and do some commentary. I don't know if it's going to be for just a certain pay-per-views. I don't know if it's going to be for the TV. But they called him in and said, you're going to be doing some shit. And maybe Tony ain't happy about that. That's possible. Sleepy. So, no, I'm not sleepy, just tired. I ain't got sleepy yet. So, Tony just might not be happy having to go commentate on the show that's the shits. You know, AEW, poor camera, great lighting, some great pageantry. But it's a boys club. Not boys as in gender, not in sex. Boys club as in, if you are not friends of the owner, the president, the vice president, basically the Bucks, Omega, Cody, if you are not in good with them, you don't get in. And it seems that everybody there that's going to be under contract is getting a 6-figure deal.
How they managing that?
Because Khan is a fucking billionaire.
I hope that he make his money back when they start on TV.
He ain't making shit. Because he's giving 6 figures to people that if I was a trained wrestler of 1 year, I would work circles around them. Right now, they are crappy. And it's not good. AEW, I'm trying. I'm really trying. You know, I gave a decent, glowing review against my better judgments because I didn't want to just call out all the negative stuff. I wanted to talk about the good stuff, but you know what? I'm not going to be able to do that next time. I'm going to have to just be real, you know, 100% real and take notice of certain things. So those are the two things. Schiavone's low energy, he sounded like he didn't care that the match was even going on. He could have been at home making a sandwich and been happier. And And he might not have been happy because AEW called in Tony Schiavone and said, hey, it's time for you to do some commentary. And he's like, damn, I don't know anything about the people there. And they're like, hey, come on in, man, deal with it.
Jim Ross having to deal with it, so
Jim Ross
be commentating, and sometimes it's like he don't know who these people are.
Yep, who is this guy? Well, that's Orange Cassidy.
He just come out and say, who
is he? Like, fuck his name. What makes him important that I should be cheering for him? Mm-hmm. Jim Ross's silence is commentary enough. The commentator should never have to ask, who is this guy? And the crowd is popping for him. Mm-hmm. He should have done his homework. They should have informed him, yeah, he's going to be here. This is him and his background. He's made his rep here and stuff. Why? So when he comes out, Ross can feign excitement and say, he's from these places, yada, 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 and sound legitimate. Things like that. So that's why this is important. Because if Tony Schiavone has to go to AEW and do things there and then go back, to Major League Wrestling, that's probably going to wear on him. Mm-hmm. And he's probably not going to be happy. It might be. I don't know for sure. I don't have direct knowledge of his joy and what causes it.
Maybe he got the flu too.
He might. He might have just he might have taken a major shit that just drained his energy.
Or maybe he needed to take one.
There you go. Maybe he was focused on not shitting on TV. So I'm just saying. So that is everything I think we got to say about Major League Wrestling's War Chamber event.
Yeah.
It's on, YouTube. Go check it out. It was worth it. It looked like a battlefield when it was over.
Yeah.
The problem is when it was over, it didn't look like this. This was supposed to be a blow-off match. When you have a match of this magnitude, it's a blow-off match.
Shit is squashed and something new begins.
It looked like it just heated things up more.
Tom Law was like he was not satisfied with winning.
Like, we won, but really? Jacob's like, man, fuck y'all. He was just...
Yeah, he was jaw-jacking.
He was jaw-jacking.
So was Samael.
If you beat your opponent, they ain't jaw-jacking. They're limping to the back.
Hell, the Contra unit still got the fucking belt, so...
What's the point? Again, that's it. That's all we got. This is pretty long. Probably just as long as the whole show. So yeah. Go check it out. Watch it. It's worth watching. Although we didn't give a glowing review, but it's actually worth watching. I suggest you check it out and have some fun. Get the popcorn ready and do it. I thought we was 2 or 3 weeks behind, but Cedric said it was uploaded 3 days ago. Mm-hmm. So Monday that would make it, and cool, right? All right. So we're going to see what comes of this, what Low Key's going to do. They talked about his loyalty, but never really expounded on it. I don't get it. So...
Yeah, apparently him and Lawler got history. So they were surprised when he joined up.
All right. So there's something there then. All right. So that's going to be it. This has been Cedric and Cedra with our thoughts on Major League Wrestling's War Chamber 2019. So you got any comments, questions, whatnot, put them down there. Please like, share, subscribe. All right. All right. Peace.